All right, this is lesson 7.8. We are going to be doing workbook pages 429 to 432. Today we're going to be taking some mixed fractions and we're going to have to rename. What that means is we're going to have to borrow. And this is kind of a hard concept, so just hang in there. We'll get through this together. Okay? Ramon, Chandler, and Chase go bike riding on weekends. On one weekend, Chase rode his bike for 3 hours. Chandler rode her bike for 2 1/4 hours. And Ramon rode his bike for 1 3/4 hours. How much longer? Okay, that tells me I'm going to need to subtract. How much longer did Chandler ride her bike than Ramon did? Okay, so the problem is 2 1/4 minus 1 3/4. Now, if we wrote that going up and down, 2 1/4 minus 1 3/4. The very first thing you're going to notice is you have 1 and you have to take 3 away from it. But we cannot do that. Okay, it says shade the model to show how long Chandler rode her bike. Chandler rode for 2 1/4. So we would shade in all of this part right here. Then shade the model to show how long Ramon rode his bike. So we've got 1 3/4. Okay, so then we're looking for this difference. Now, it's easy to do this if you draw out a picture, but we're not always going to be able to draw out a picture. We know that the difference is 2/4 because we can see that's how much is not shaded in there. That's the difference. But what do we do if we can't draw all this picture out? Okay, I could change this 2 and make 4/4 and 4/4 because that's 2 wholes. And I'm going to borrow a 4/4. So I'm going to add that 4/4 to the 1/4. So now I've got 5/4, and I still have this 1 right here. Okay, 5/4 minus 3/4 is 2/4, and 1 take away 1 is 0. So Chandler rode her bike 2/4 of an hour, or 1/2 hour longer than Ramon did. Okay, we've already answered that. If we had 1 1/4 size parts, can I take away a 3/4 size part? Okay, let's look at this. I have 1. Can I take 3 fingers away from 1? No, I cannot. But could I borrow from the whole? Yes. Change this whole into 4/4. So now I'm going to borrow and bring that 4/4 together with this 1/4. So 4/4 plus 1/4 would equal 5/4. And then, so I'm going to cross all this out. Now all I have is 5/4 minus 3/4 is 2/4. Okay, we're going to practice this a lot. Let's go to the next page. So it says we've got 5 1/8, and I'm going to write it over here because that makes sense to me, minus 3 3/8. Okay, I have 5 whole here. Now, we're going to take, because we have 1/8 minus 3/8, and I cannot do that. So I'm going to borrow 1 from the 5, and I get 4. So then the 1 that I borrow is actually 4, so I'm going to take 1 away. I've got 4. And what I'm borrowing is, no. Sorry. Okay, so I've got an 8/8 plus the 1/8, because this 1 is the one I borrowed from the 5. So now I have 4 and 9/8 minus 3 and 3/8. Now I have enough on top that I can subtract. 9/8 minus 3/8 would be 6/8. And 4 take away 3 is 1. And so we should have gotten an answer of, oh no, what did I do wrong? Oh, okay, hang on. We did the whole problem. I didn't understand what they did here. So this is 4 and 9/8 right here. So then right here they've changed that to 4 and 9/8, which is what I did over here, minus 3 and 3/8, and we get 1 and 6/8, or 1 and 3/4. Okay, they just drew it all out there, and I had already did it over here. So let's try another one. We've got 3 and 4/12 minus 1 and 6/12. I'm going to write that up and down. 3 and 4/12 minus 1 and 6/12. Okay, I've got 4, and I cannot take 6 away from it. So I'm going to borrow 1. So if I had 3 and I borrowed 1, I have 2 left. So now I've borrowed a 12 out of 12. So 4/12 plus 12/12 will equal 16/12. Now I can subtract. 16/12 minus 6/12 would be 10/12, and 2 take away 1 is 1. Now let's see what they've done here. Okay, so this is the other way I showed you to do it, is if we multiply, and we changed it into mixed numbers. 3 times 12 is 36, plus 4 would be 40/12. And we're going to change this one into not a mixed number, an improper fraction, I'm sorry. So this is an improper fraction because it's got more on top than it does on bottom. Okay, 1 times 12 is 12, plus 6 would be 18/12. So then we're going to take 40/12 minus 18/12, and I'm going to do that math over here. 10 minus 8 is 2, 3 minus 1 is 2, so I get 22/12, which is great, but then I still need to get down to the final answer. So that says 22 divided by 12. How many times can 12 go into 22? 1 time. So I have 1 and 10/12 left over. Got the same answer we got right there. Okay, on this one at the bottom, how can you rename 5 to subtract 3 1/4? Okay, let's write it up and down. We've got 5 minus 3 and 1/4. Okay, the denominator is 4, so I've got to borrow 4 out of 4. I got to borrow a whole. So I had 5 wholes, and I'm going to borrow 1, so now I have 4 wholes. And then the 1 whole that I borrowed was 4 out of 4. So now 4/4 minus 1/4 would be 3/4, and 4 minus 3 would be 1. This is hard stuff. Okay, let's go to page 431. I've got 3 and 3/6. It says rename both mixed numbers as fractions. So we're going to take the mixed number and we're going to make an improper fraction. Improper fractions are bigger on top than they are underneath. So if we do 3 times 6 is 18, plus 3, 19, 20, 21. I get 21/6. Okay, 1 times 6 is 6, plus 4 is 10. Okay, and then I'm going to subtract, and I end up with 11/6. But then I think they would accept that answer, but then you can also put that into a mixed number. If we do 11 divided by 6, 6 goes into 11 one time, and I have 5/6 left over. So 11/6 is 1 and 5/6. Okay, I'd like you to try 2 through 7 on your own. So pause the video and then come back and then see if you are doing them correctly. Okay, welcome back. So I've got 1 1/3 minus 2/3. We're going to borrow from this one whole, and if we have one whole, that's 3 out of 3. And I'm going to add, I don't have any left now because I'm going to borrow it. I'm going to add the one that we borrowed to this one. So I end up with 4/3. Now it's easy to do 4/3 minus 2/3 equals 2/3. Okay. Another way to do this would be to rename them as mixed fractions. Let's try that. 4 times 10 is 40, plus 7 would be 47/10, minus 1 times 10 is 10, plus 9 is 19/10. So then I would have to subtract 47 minus 19. I can't do 7 minus 9, so I have to borrow. 17 minus 9 is 8. 3 minus 1 is 2. So I end up with 28/10. Now another way to say that, we'd have to figure out how many times could 10 go into 28. It would go in 2 times, and I would have 8/10 left over. Okay, I'm going to go back and do it the way I did it this time. I've got 3 and 5/12 minus 8/12. So because 12ths is our denominator, and I have 3 wholes, I'm going to take a whole away. So when I take a whole away, I get a 2. And then the whole that I take away, I have to add to what I already have here. 5/12 plus 12/12 is 17/12 minus 8/12. We would end up with 9/12. And then I still have this 2. I can't forget the 2 that I had there. So I get 2 and 9/12 is our final answer. Number 5, I've got 1/10 minus 9/10. I can't do that, so I'm going to borrow 1 whole. 1 whole would be 10 out of 10, so I'm going to end up with 11/10. Minus 9/10 would be 2/10, and then 7 minus 2 is 5. Okay, here I have nothing, and I have to take away 1/4. So I'm going to borrow 1, so I'm left with 1. And the 1 whole that I borrowed, because we're in fourths, that's going to be 4/4. So 4/4 minus 1/4 is 3/4. and 1 take away 1 is 0. So we don't have anything left there. Okay, here I've got 1/5 minus 2/5. If I have one finger, I can't take 2 away from it. There's not enough. Okay, so I'm going to go here and borrow a hole. I had 4 holes. I take 1 away and I get 3. The hole that I'm borrowing, because we're working with fifths, is 5 out of 5. That's the whole candy bar. Put those two together and I get 6/5 minus 2/5 equals 4/5. And then I look at my whole numbers. I've got 3 minus 3, and that's 0. So we don't need to put anything there. Okay, for 8 through 11, it says copy and solve. So you can try those on your own paper. For number 8, you should have gotten 1 and 2/6. For number 9, 2 and 11/12. For number 10, you should have gotten 2 and 6/10. And for number 4, 1 and 2/5. All right, Lisa mixes 4 and 2/6 cups of orange juice with 3 and 1/6 cups of pineapple juice to make fruit punch. She and her friends drank. So first I'm going to add those two together, and then this is something they drank. So how much of the fruit punch is left? So first of all, let's put together 4 plus 3 is 7, and then 2/6 plus 1/6 is 3/6. But then they're going to drink 3 and 4/6. Okay, I can do 7 minus 3, but can I do 3 take away 4? No, I cannot. So I'm going to borrow 1 from the 7. The 7 becomes a 6. I'm going to add the 6/6 together, and then I will get 9/6 minus 4/6 would be 5/6, and 6 minus 3 would be 3. So we have 3 and 5/6. What are they measuring with? Cups. Okay, rename the fractions to solve. Many instruments are coiled or curved, so they are easier for the musician to play, but they would be quite long if straightened out completely. This is the instrument that Miss Pruitt played in high school, grade school, middle school, and high school. It's a trumpet. A shorter one of those would be a cornet. So can you imagine if all this were stretched out? It would be a really long instrument. So trumpets and cornets are brass instruments. Fully stretched out, the length of a trumpet is 5 1/4 feet, and the length of a cornet is 4 2/4 feet. The trumpet is how much longer? Longer tells me I need to subtract. So I'm going to put 5 1/4 on top, and I'm going to subtract the 4 2/4. Okay, right away I see that I do not have enough on top here. I've got 1/4. So I'm going to have to borrow from the hole. I had 5 holes. I take 1 away. I have 4. The hole that I borrowed is a 4/4. So 1/4 plus 4/4 equals 5/4. 5/4 minus 2/4 is 3/4. And then 4 take away 4 is 0. So how much longer? We've got 3/4. They're measuring in feet, but we only actually have one less than a foot. So it's 3/4 foot. Okay, tubas, trombones, and French horns are brass instruments. Fully stretched out, the length of the tuba is 18 feet, the length of a trombone is 9 11/12, and the length of a French horn is 17 1/12 feet. The tuba is how much longer than the French horn? Okay, so the tuba was 18. The French horn is 17 1/12. Okay, right away I see I don't have anything to subtract here, but I know I need to subtract something here. So I'm going to take one away from 18 and get 17, and the one that I borrowed comes out here. Okay, 12 twelfths minus 1 12th would be 11 twelfths, and then 17 minus 17 is 0. So the tuba is 11 twelfths of a foot shorter. Okay, then they want to know how much longer is the French horn. So that's 17 and 1 12th minus the trombone, which is 9 and 11 twelfths. Okay, so I'm going to subtract, but I see that I have 1 12th minus 11 12th. I can't do that. So I go to the 17, I borrow 1, and I get 16. And I'm going to add 12 twelfths onto the 1 12th, and I get 13 twelfths. Kind of running out of room there. 13 twelfths minus 11 twelfths would be 2 twelfths. 16 minus 9 would be 7. So we get 7 and 2 twelfths, and this one we're going to write feet. Okay, we're going to skip this one. And let's see about this one. Alicia had 3 1/6 yards of fabric. After making a tablecloth, she had 1 4/6 yards of fabric. Alicia said she used 2 3/6 yards of fabric for the tablecloth. Do you agree? Okay, so she started out with 3 1/6. She said she used, or no, she had, when she got all done, she had 1 4/6. So if we subtract those, we'll get what she had left. Okay, I have 1/6 minus 4/6. Can't do that. So I borrow a whole. The whole that I borrowed is 6 out of 6. So that's 7/6. 7/6 minus 4/6 is 3/6. And then 2 take away 1 is 1. Now she said she used 2 3/6. But we got, so do we agree? No. She used 1 3/6. What she did is she made a hole, but she forgot to take 1 away from the hole there. Okay? All right. This was hard. I get it. You're going to go ahead and go to Clever and try this assignment. I want you to just try your best. I don't know that I will put this one in the grade book, and we will practice that on Thursday we'll practice it again on next Tuesday during remote when we do the next couple pages. So we're going to see this again. Just try your best on this lesson. This was 7.8. So when you go to do the Clever assignment, just do the best that you can. I'm probably not going to put 7.8 in the actual grade book, but I do want you to complete it. Okay.